So Biden drops out of the 2024 presidential election. Welcome back to Bridging the Gap. Make sure to leave a like on this video down below and subscribe. My name is Alvin. I lean right on most issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
My name is Luke. I lean left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. Guys, we have some breaking news right now. Biden has just dropped out of the 2024 race. So now the Democrats are without a nominee, and yeah, we're streaming like straight toward the November election. And yeah, we'll have to see what goes down.
Exactly. So we are approximately 2 months from when the first states start voting, and Biden is out. He has folded to the pressure campaign. He has completely abandoned his presidential campaign. And as you can see in this letter that he posted to X and other social medias, formerly known as Twitter, of course, uh, Biden drops out. He initially did not endorse anyone to be his successor, but just a few minutes after he dropped out, he decided to endorse his vice president, as we all know, Kamala Harris, to be the next nominee. And there's going to be a political earthquake that comes as a result.
So yeah, in this video, we're definitely going to be doing an analysis of what the process that kind of led to Biden dropping out, and what the future of the Democrats is going to kind of look like here, and we're going to be looking at Kamala's chances and how this all will kind of and kind of think brainstorm how this will all unfold going into the 2024 election. So yeah.
Yeah, so obviously we will be primarily looking at Kamala. At this point, it is almost, I would say 90 to 95% possibility. I mean, the betting market's have at
Hmm.
80, but I would say it's a 90 to 95% possibility that Kamala Harris is going to be the next Democrat nominee for president. She is logically the best choice in terms of
Yeah.
legitimacy. She has obviously the vice presidential role. She is also logistically the best choice. And this comes from a lot of legal loopholes on legal rules on fundraising, and how the loophole of where, since she was technically on the ticket, she could use that fundraising as the VP.
Hmm.
And so there's a lot of things that would probably have to go wrong for Harris to not be the nominee. But
Yeah.
right now we are still in chaos.
Yep. Yeah. I totally agree. In all likelihood, it's going to be Kamala Harris. I mean, she's a Biden endorsement. Biden like had all those delegates. So his delegates, I imagine, are just going to move straight to Kamala Harris with him endorsing her. So there's that. Also, Harris is the only candidate that would keep Biden's headquarters, all the millions of dollars he has. His entire campaign operation will essentially just move to Harris because she's the vice president and she's part of the ticket. So she's the only candidate, the only potential candidate who would keep all that. Also, I don't really see too much of a reason to ditch her, especially because over the last few weeks, after Biden's disastrous debate performance, Kamala Harris has been kind of standing out in terms of her campaign skills and the speeches she's given have been, have been quite good. And also with that, with other Democratic leaders, kind of as they were calling Biden to kind of drop out, they were all most of them were also just endorsing Kamala Harris. So I think with all that combined, it makes it very likely that Kamala is going to be the nominee here.
Yeah, for sure. And we know that. I mean, I personally think that Kamala is one of the weaker Democrats that you could put up this cycle around. I think almost every option in the betting markets below her is probably stronger. But we just know that, as the Democratic Party, they just can't be leapfrogging a black woman to be the nominee. That would be extremely bad for optics. And we know that Kamala stands a better chance than Biden. I don't think she stands a particularly great chance. I think we can both agree that she's not the favorite. Still, we can definitely agree that Trump is
Hmm.
favored right now, but Kamala has some new energy into the race, as you can probably tell from Luke's voice
Oh,
just
for
recording this
sure.
video. He is
Yeah.
absolutely pumped compared to when Biden was in this race. He was dejected, he was depressed every video. Now with Kamala, he's a little more energized. He just has the vibes now.
I just
So,
want to note, like, I, I was so excited to record. I have a slight cough right now. You might hear me coughing during the recording. I was so hyped to record a video about Biden dropping out, like new energy. And I think it just goes for a lot of young voters because it breaks that duality between two freaking ancient men running. And like now we have we're likely going to get a younger candidate, someone who could actually preach like the democratic values and get the message
Someone that
out.
can talk.
Yeah,
For
yeah, and
sure,
like,
yes.
and really, like anyone who can message on behalf of the party and like stand up to this touch of democracy. I think again, Harris is a great duality. He's a former prosecutor going up against a criminal running for office. It's a great duality. It's a great contrast. And it'll like I think all that like, I'm hyped. I'm just hyped. I would say I don't think she like I still don't think she's the favorite to win, but personally, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that are politically engaged are going to be excited, especially on the Democrat side. They're going to be a lot more excited to go out and vote this November. Obviously, the Republicans just got a major boost after the Trump failed assassination attempt in the RNC, and so right now Republicans are united as a party and ready to go out and vote in November. And Democrats were previously offering absolutely nothing to their base, absolutely nothing to moderates or independents either. Harris, although I don't think she is particularly good with independence and such, I think she's definitely going to at least give something to her base to come out and vote for, right? Because she is this person that people can actually unite behind. I think a lot of Democrats were sort of fraying with Biden for one reason or another. There were already cracks showing before the debate, obviously, with the whole Israel conflict. Now we have a new era where Harris can sort of play to the strengths of the Biden White House accomplishments, but also sort of distance herself from the decisions that she could say Biden made that were unpopular. She has a lot of things going for her. We can go ahead and look at the polling. We know that when Trump was facing Biden, Trump was up in every single poll, basically, except for one post debate. We also had the post assassination attempt figures going up for him. But when we move over to the Trump versus Harris polling, Trump is up by a point less, which is actually somewhat significant, with the margins. Obviously, Democrats need to win the popular vote by more than probably two to win the Electoral College. And the discrepancy might be even worse with Harris with the Rust Belt. We'll talk about that. But this still presents a slightly better picture for Democrats. It presents some energy and it closes the enthusiasm gap.
Yeah, yeah. And something else I'd like to note is um Biden and Trump are both two known entities. Like they've both been president for like Biden
True.
about 4 years. So like they're both known. So I don't really believe they have a lot of room to grow. They really only have room to fall, as we've seen with Biden after his debate performance. Harris, on the other hand, she still has room to grow. I think she does have a clear opportunity to rebrand herself like as she like the spotlight's going to be on her now, so it's really depends on what she does with that spotlight. I definitely think she has the potential to win. Right now obviously I mean she's down in the available polling, but the difference is between her and Biden is Democrats can have hope with her. Like she's not like an 80-year-old man who risks collapsing on a debate stage. If she does good in a debate, she might go up in the polls. If she does other great things on the campaign, she has room to grow. So I mean, there's reason to have hope with her, and that is a clear difference. And I'm that's why I'm like a reason I'm really happy with this change.
Agreed. I think, we definitely need to observe very closely because number one, a lot of polls are going to come out soon, and we need to know how Harris is actually faring. Number two, the opposition research is going to start coming out on Harris, whatever that might damage her. And then finally, we're going to have the boost for Harris as Democrats excitedly coalesce around her. And so we're going to have to examine all those things. I think we also need to examine a few things like the electoral college map. I sort of have laid out,
Hmm.
every state that would go, probably in either direction. And you have this sort of holy grail of six states that you sort of need to clutch up on. If you're the Democrats, you need to win these three top states to win, or pick off one of the southern states. And the problem with Harris that we've been talking about for a while on this channel is that she doesn't have much appeal to the Midwest, to these, to the white working class that Biden had. She might do better with black voters now. Biden used to be very good with black voters, but Harris is obviously half black. You're gonna have some more enthusiasm in these college towns in Wisconsin, in Madison, and Ann Arbor, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. You're going to have a lot of things that happen in the Midwest, but she's still probably weaker than Biden. So in these states, I think she would probably do slightly better in Georgia because of the black population there in Atlanta. But if we give Trump Nevada, Arizona, and now Kamala, let's say she wins Michigan, which is probably the most Democrat of the three, sorry, she would either need to win Pennsylvania and Georgia, or she would need to win, she basically needs to win a combination of two of these states, right? And it's either going to be Wisconsin and Pennsylvania or Pennsylvania and Georgia. And Luke's coughing a lot in the background, so
Sorry.
you know, yeah. So
Apologies.
yeah, he is sick. But we do need to see this electoral math. We know that the path is pretty tough for Kamala, but Joe had absolutely no chance, and Kamala might have a chance. You also want to talk about the 13 keys for a sec?
Yeah, yeah. So something to note with the 13 keys here is this actually would in the 13 keys model, Democrats are actually put at a slight disadvantage with Kamala Harris in that the incumbent seeking reelection key would flip to Trump. So there's that. Also it would put the no primary contest key from solidly in Democratic hands to potentially up in play. But something I
Yeah.
will also note is it still gives both parties a clear chance of winning. So if we're analyzing, if we're looking at all the solid keys, now all the keys that are characterized, and the keys that change, the no primary contest key, the no third party key, and the no social unrest key are probably the three that are left in play this election. And I mean, I guess we'll just quickly run through those three. Um, the no primary contest key, I think the Democratic Party is going to pretty easily and seamlessly coalesce around Kamala. As we said before, Biden endorsed her. And I think the criteria for the key is that like 75% of delegates have to back her. I think we're going to have that. So I'd put it likely or lean Democrat. No third party key. The criteria here is like a third party getting 5% of the vote. I have my doubts because Kennedy Jr., although he's polling around like 8% now, they usually poll less getting closer to the election, one. And two, he's not on the ballot in every state yet. So that already puts him kind of down. So so yeah, if he's pulling 8% and the polls are contacting people all across the nation and he's not even going to be on the ballot in all those states, then he probably won't even obtain that. So that likely is also lean in favor of the Democrats. And then no social unrest. This highly depends on whether young voters on college campuses protests the war in Gaza again, U.S. involvement in the war in Gaza. We saw that sort of that toward the end of our semesters in early May, late April. If we see that on a high level again, then maybe that could flip toward being count toward being social unrest. But right now, I mean, I don't know about you. I haven't heard much talk about the Gaza conflict over the summer. So I guess we'll really have to see. I would bet against it right now. Um, but I don't know. You never know. You never know.
Yeah,
But yeah,
when school starts up again, we're gonna see what really happens because right
it'll
now
be easier to tell.
the
You're right.
college campuses aren't in play, so it's difficult to see. We're gonna see because people low. I mean, I would think mostly blame Biden. A lot of these college kids blame Biden for his response, and Kamala might be able to avoid a little bit of that. Obviously, she carries a lot of things from his administration and the administration's policies, but at the same time, she has been softer on Palestine and a little less hesitant, a little more hesitant to give aid to Israel, as we've seen with her comments. So, we'll see. Trump does only need to flip one more key though, and we're gonna see what happens with the race in general. It's gonna come down to the wire probably yet again, even though Trump is favored. And yeah,
Mhm.
so the pressure got to Biden. And you see all these people, Biden, we thought that he would overcome the wave of people telling him to step aside, especially in early July. But then just this past week, we saw a wave of people orchestrated primarily by Speaker Emeritus Nancy Pelosi, former Speaker of the House, who completely was just a menace, in my opinion, completely turned against Biden, getting all her allies to get him to step aside. We had leaks in the Congressional Black
Mm,
Caucus, Latino Caucus. We had a ton of people throughout the entire country, Democrats everywhere telling him to suspend his campaign. And a lot of the people that even said they have concerns were just scared to say that he should suspend. A lot of people that said defer to Biden were actually just telling him to suspend without telling him he should suspend because he already said that he would remain in the race. So if you say we will let him make his decision, that means that you don't want him to make the decision he already made, right? And the reason why there's so much black in the middle of the country is that's all Republican territory. So basically, the whole coast is just wrapped with Democrats telling him to go, and that's
yeah.
that's very telling.
I mean,
Any last words until we end
oh
the
yeah, I mean,
video?
I'm glad I'm glad they actually got him to resign, and I'm glad he decided to resign. I mean, not resign, sorry, to drop out. He's not resigning the presidency. He's going to be the presidency in the presidency for the remainder of his term, of course. But I'm very glad he chose to drop out. I mean, when 60% of Democrats are calling on you to drop out, when 80% of independents are calling you for you to drop out, I'm just glad he kind of listened to the people here. And I think Democrats are going to get a burst of energy come our convention, and hopefully this brings us the hope we need to come back and beat Trump.
Yeah, we'll see because the convention could either be a burst of hope or utter chaos if they can't coalesce around Kamala.
That's
So we're
true.
gonna have to see what happens for sure. Yeah, so thank you for watching. We'll be releasing a Trump versus Kamala prediction soon. We'll be releasing a lot more content with
Yo, yeah, we
how
might do a
the
video on the Veep stakes, like for Kamala's
Yep, for
VP.
Kamala's Veep stakes, because now there's that too. After we thought JD Vance got the only Veep stakes this cycle, there's another one. We're gonna be releasing a lot of content around the Democrats now that they finally have something going on, and there's obviously a different candidate now. Not that we know the candidate, but there's gonna be a new candidate. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell. Comment down below who you think Kamala's gonna pick as for vice president. We'll have to see and your initial reactions to this because we're posting this very shortly after the news breaks. So thanks for watching and share with your friends and family.
See you guys.